So that's a lie. What a beautiful way to present your game. And his hand is super tiny. Like, it's tinier than this. Those look like this looks like his hand was like amputated or something. I don't know what happened with his hand. All right, I have no idea what's in this, so let's open this. Now, wait a second. Wait a second here, guys. That is not a character I know of, so that must be coming in their next Kickstarter. Okay, well, you guys don't want to see me struggle. But I'll definitely have to... I mean, maybe... I'm sure some people want to see me struggle. Alright, and this big box is the all-in to Arena the Contest. This has been one of my most anticipated games this year. Been really pumped for it. The art looks fantastic. The campaign was run really, really well. And the gameplay, they highlighted the gameplay a lot, and it just seems really, really interesting. The story sounds cool. The decisions you have to make sound interesting. Team composition sounds awesome. Packaging looks good. So the box was a little, like it was like open halfway kind of thing. It's just this flimsy box, but this is nice. I like this. This reminds me a lot of the claustrophobia one, which is nice. In fact, look, they filled in the extra with nothing but more bubble wrap. That's nice. I like that. It doesn't like it shifted around or anything. Let me see how to even get in here. On the sides, all of it. Let's see. Oh, what is this? Interesting. Well, we'll have to see what that is. All right. Heroes and Dungeons expansion, the Imperial box, which is a Kickstarter exclusives, and then the actual board game itself. So let's see here. Let's get the board game itself out there. Ugh. Very big and heavy. Really big and heavy. All right, let's move this to the side. Okay. Then we have the Kickstarter exclusive box. I love that so far I've not seen anything that doesn't look like it's retail. What I mean by that is you don't get that cheap cardboard box without any art. I'll never understand why companies, especially the big companies, don't just put a little bit of art and give you a nice big box. Now, I do see a little dent here. You see that there. I mean, it's nothing terrible, but it's kind of unfortunate. This has been handled pretty badly because this is, actually right here, this is not, I wonder if it happened right there. It's not inflated there. Either way, I'm still happy with how this is packaged. Just shows how bad it would have been otherwise, I guess. The art and world, I am a sucker for anything that has lore in it. If you put words in your art book, I'm probably going to get it. I mean, art has to be good, I suppose, but it's kind of nice as a painter to see it in print versus here's the kind of early bird guy, the Shapeshifter, where you could, I think, pay a little bit for him. Then we have the Hydra in here. And last but not least, in a completely different style box, well, I guess he's just not wrapped, we have the Elder Dragon Premium figure. Not a figure, it's a miniature. Don't call them figures. Alright. And that's it. Let's dig into this, shall we? Alright, let's get into the main box here. Let's go ahead and open this up and kind of see where we're at. So I can see right here a little kind of, looks like some scuff marks on the plastic here. A slight dent in the box here. This is very tight plastic and it seems to be pretty thick. So it looks like I still have kind of an area to open it. There we are. It is definitely a more traditional style box that you would, see closer to like retail versus Kickstarter. Kickstarter recently, I've seen a lot of them are doing this kind of full art stuff, and I really like the design of this. I'm not saying that. I'm just observing a kind of a style difference here, right? Like you look at Claustrophobia or even Batman or those kind of games, and they're very art first. Hate by Come On was like that as well, whereas this one, it's decently thick plastic, by the way. It wasn't the thickest I've had. I really like the shine there. Hopefully you can see that in the Arena of the Contest here. I also like how this goes over a little bit. It's just, kind of fun. Oh, this is a heavy, heavy box, by the way. On the other side here, looks like we have, you know, this kind of cooperative, competition, arena. You got the different miniatures you have. I don't know if they call them miniatures or figurines, but let's see here. This product is not a toy for collectors. Look at that, collectors. There you go. So we are collectors, by the way. At least we're not beating around the bush here. Yeah. I like it. It's a good theme, kind of all around, and looks quite professional, I feel. 1 to 8 players. 1 to 8 players. All right. This slid off very nice, by the way, and you hear that? It's got that kind of finish on there, just so it feels really nice in the hands, which is good. And again, I love how easy that slid off. All right, let's see here. Quick start right there at the top. It's well packaged, I feel. Look at that, it's not too bad. I mean, depends on how quick you think everything is, but still, I really appreciate that. I'll definitely have to read that. Got the quest guide. Now, I'm definitely not going to like spend some time here. I like the full art there. You can see do you see the scratches on the back here? It was slid over something that had, you know, little pieces of, you know, sand or something almost like. But it looks like there's something else on it there. I would have liked this to look a bit more. See, there's a little bend here. I don't know if you can, yeah, see right there where it reflects there. Again, it's just, I mean, this looks good. I'm not saying that. I just, things I notice, I guess. This looks really well laid out. I'm really happy about that. Nothing here looks too small, which is good. A lot of times when you see these maps, they're either too busy or they're just, you can't tell what's going on, or they're too small and you can't tell the difference between that guy and that guy or whatever, but they seem to do pretty good. I can tell the difference between the colors here, by the way, which is nice. No, I can't always do that. And then we got the campaign tome again. The quest guide and then the rulebook. Okay. So it looks like you have a log here. Hopefully, I believe there are some PDFs you can download these, because heck, if I'm marking up the back of the book, and I'm gonna come to the middle and then just go. But you can see all the different texts. So that's cool. Look at that. You got like little maps to tell where you're going. Some puzzles. I see some passwords, some glyphs, QR codes to check to see if you're right or wrong. This is really cool. So you don't spoil it. You can just essentially enter what you think the answer is, and it'll just say yes or no. So you're not having to like look in the back of the book and see something you shouldn't have. Yeah, love all the art. This all looks really cool. Next up, the rulebook. Again with the bend. You see an even bigger bend here. Kind of unfortunate. I wonder how that happened in the factory. And lots of skid marks there. Do you see all that? Hopefully you can see the all the different scratches there. Beautiful art though. Let's go and take a look at the back. The back is not an index, which is super unfortunate because this is, how many pages is this? 39 pages of pretty small font, and we're not even going to have an index there or a glossary or anything like that, which is kind of a huge bummer there. Let's at least look at the front then. Maybe we'll get a component list. Let's see. So you do get an index. So this is not an index. This is a table of contents. The difference between an index and a table of contents, for people who, I guess who may not know or whatever, is a table of contents will just list kind of the headers and then show the number that header is on. It's kind of a layout. But if you wanted to know every time heroes are mentioned, or every time the turn order is mentioned, or the striking phase, then you'd go to an index. It doesn't necessarily have to be a header, and it will list every page is listed on, not just once. I highly doubt this is a true index because I don't see anything with multiple pages. And I kind of doubt that something like tiles are only mentioned on one page. Or in this case, it looks like 2 different pages right next to each other. So this is definitely a table of contents, not an index. So that's a lie. Component list. I'm glad there is a component list. I prefer images if I can get it, just so I know exactly. When you say boss spell cards versus the evil power cards, beyond counting to see if there's 5 more of one or another, I need to know what the difference is between that. And ideally, I have one place to look instead of having to find, okay, where are they listed here, especially without an index. So where do I learn about evil power cards? And I can maybe try finding it here. An index is normally alphabetized, so I just go under the E's. This is not alphabetized, so I can't just go under the E's. So I have no idea where that is or where I would look for it. This is why this is so important. I can't stress this enough. Put a real index in your rulebook. Always, 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 always. I just right here, just looking at this, maybe I want to look at evil power cards. Well, I don't know where that is. Where the heck is that? Like I don't, there's no reference, there's no, maybe you guys are seeing, like, oh, it's right there next to the level up. I don't know. Let me see if I can even find it real quick. I can't, and that's the whole problem. I need to do this quick. I'm in the middle of a game. I'm busy playing. I just need to look up a rule real quick. I need to whip this out and check it real quick. I can't because nothing's real quick with this because you spent the time to do all the layout nicely here, and I love the different call outs. I love the examples. It looks like there's plenty of image use. The small images that aren't taking up a whole bunch of space, or you're not like wasting pages and all that. Like you're seeing clear things here. I appreciate that. I'm seeing some symbols here. Hopefully they're not too symbol heavy. If there are, there better be a symbol list as well. It just needs to be usable. It needs to be able to really kind of quickly find what it is I'm looking for. And I can't do that unless I put an index. So rulebook, I'm going to put a fail because of the lack of the index. But I like the layout and stuff, so it'd be good for a 2.0. This folds really small. Kind of interesting. Nice and thick. I do like that. Get out of the way there. Let's see what we're looking at here. So you got the one plain side and then the one here. What is this? Evolution. This game is a living thing. As such, I'll treat you nice then. As such, to improve your experience, we will seek to correct mistakes, update rules, and change quests. Check out the arena.st/FAQ for all the above. Cool. I like that. A little link to the FAQ tucked in here. Let's see. I don't know about scale yet. That'll be in my review. Like, is the shield too small or too big? Or are these skulls the wrong size? Or is this sword the size of a person? Or, I mean, I'll take a look at all that like I normally do. But I love the art. I think that looks really good, especially the, you can tell it's digital, but I like how this, when they seem superimposed like that, it kind of gives them a bit of a height, and I'm sure the shadows there help as well. This makes it seem a little bit less flat, which I appreciate. I like how small it folds up, too. All right, bring this back. All right, we got some punch-outs. I'm going to have to test that out. This is great cardboard. This is really, really good. You see how clear that came out? You see how there's like there's barely a hint of a tag here. And like on the side, you can kind of see it, but none of these, it looks like are going to be dangling or, you know, sometimes you get the one, oh yeah, I see like right there. Oh, maybe I was wrong. That one wasn't as good. Cardstock, or just the kind of the press board they're using here is really thick, which I like. Rounded corners, so they're kind of nice to pick up and kind of move around and everything. Front and back. The back is straight, so this is a straight edge. This is a rounded edge. I actually tend to like them to match if I can, but I'll take rounded edges versus all straight any day. Those seem nice. I'm okay with those. Looks like nothing is being torn off. Yeah, see, some of those tags are a little bit harder than I'd like. But I don't see any, I don't even see a chance of these like ripping their images off or anything like that. So that's good. All right, move on from those. More tokens here. Yeah, all the same cardstock. Good. All right. And look at this. What a beautiful way to present your game. Now, I always say this, these unboxings, a lot of people, unboxing, this is the consumer's first experience with your game. Before they play it, before they're awed by how it is or how amazing of a gameplay it is, this is what they experience first. They experience opening it up, then they experience this. And if you botch this, and if you botch this, they're already not liking your game from their experience with it. This is going to take some of my time. It's going to take at least as long as 1 game session, probably 2. So this is worth 2 games of enjoyment on here. Look, you can see the little kind of tear there too. My goodness. So focused on this one. These were roughly handled. Anyway, first experience component, second experience rulebook. The final component, the final way they interact with your game is actually playing the game. Obviously, that's the longest one over time if you do a good job, but take some pride in what you make. Look at this. Love the art on there. Love the kind of cool tray there. Now, none of it is, hopefully this is not snap-in. It doesn't seem like it is, which is great. And so we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that, but it looks like it looks like if I tip this over, they might move around a little bit, but I'll take that versus snap-in any day, because that means I can actually paint them. So let's open this up. Take a look at these. Again, these are the character cards here. Love the art. Really impressed with that. This is nice and thick. Wow, that's pleasant. Okay, these are way skinnier than I thought they'd be. I don't recall having to put a whole bunch of stuff on them and move them around, so it's not like they need to be some thick double stock cardboard, but ideally these are not too thin either. They are a good quality, like the whatever cardstock they used here is nice, but they are quite thin. But look how many you have here. My goodness. What's back here? Some bad guy stuff, condition list. Okay, this is kind of nice. So you can have 2 different things out where you can, quickly reference it as like a player guide. I do like that. Thanks for including that. Yeah, these are okay. I mean, they're obviously thicker is always better. Am I right? But the art on here looks good. I am kind of bummed. I'm kind of surprised there's not a whole lot of bio on the back. It looks like just a quote in the full art. I do enjoy the art. Don't get me wrong, the art in this game is amazing. Like, whoever your guys' artist is fantastic. But I'm a lore guy too. I like seeing a little bio, a little blurb about them. All right, we got some clip tokens here. These are quite skinny. Like, they look smaller. They can fit. They're the hard kind, not the rubber kind. I prefer the softer kind myself. Let me just get somebody here real quick. Yeah, no, so it's not for that. I'm not sure what these are for yet, but not for those guys. I wanted to say I do like the colors. So those look nice. They're kind of the off colors here. Okay, we got some cards here. Take a look. Oh, look at that. Easy open. Easy peasy. Look at that. All right. Beautiful, beautiful art. I love how it goes edge to edge. No border. Really, really nice here. What do the backs look like? What are these? These are some kind of... that's probably spoilers there. You don't want to necessarily look at those. All the backs... okay, it depends on what it is. Heroic action versus a flask versus level up. Very cool. Again, love the art. These look nice. All right, get that kind of spoiler stuff there. Now, it looks like they have quite a few here. Either I can add expansions or they probably accommodate, because you see how loose these are? I almost guarantee these work with sleeves. Which again, very, very thoughtful and nice. Anytime they're thinking not just of their shipment of the product, but after it delivers to the consumer and the consumer has to store it, when you're thinking about the consumer, and instead of just bowing out the moment it's shipped and you're thinking you're done with it, and so offering storage solutions is always very nice. It looks like this is more of the same, a lot of kind of story stuff here. I don't want to really look through that. What I will do real quick is just take this one. They're very smooth, which means they'll get little dots and scratches a little bit easier than a textured one. You'll see it a lot easier. They actually seem quite firm though. It's not super easy to bend this at all. I'm happy with those. Those seem nice. All right, guys, changed the camera angle. Got my daughter here. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, and we're gonna go and look at these miniatures now. So I haven't looked at them, but I can see them from here, and well, I guess we'll take a look. My pointer? Yeah, we'll get to that one. All right, let's look at her. Now, I will say right here, first of all, I love the pose. I like that this is kind of swooshed to the side. I like kind of her arms are not symmetrical. This one's farther back than this one. The hair detail here is, well, it looks like actually a hood, so you can't really tell. The face detail here, and again, I'll put this on the round table at the end so you guys will see it all in really good detail, up close, really nice looking. This is just me kind of live reacting here. The facial detail is really good. The fingers and palms are actually kind of nice. The palms look a little muddy, but the fact that she has fingers and they're not all together is quite good. Though it does look like they need to be cleaned up a bit. I see kind of a seam line here, mold line here. This detail here looks very soft. So she's supposed to have these like tassel looking things here by the looks of it. And I can like not really tell those apart. Those very soft detail there. And very skinny base. In fact, it looks a little warpy. Is it a little warpy? It is. So you see right here, and you'll see this up close, but not straight. Take a look. Next person. Okay, so her hair actually looks pretty decent. I like her hair here. It's really good texture. Clear necklace. I like that. Okay, her armor here is good. The leggings are good. Boot is sufficient. This is obviously twisted, which looks cool. The skull there looks good. This is one that I think is a step above. This one seems a little bit better to me. The belt here, that looks a little shallow, but otherwise this one's good. I like that. Her face, oh, she's got some deep set eyes. Painted up, this should be pretty good. And actually the cleanup on this one doesn't look as bad either. No, it's actually not too bad. Let's look at this guy. Okay, so right here, you can tell this was assembled onto it. And I think it's not the best assembly. And his hand is super tiny. Like, it's tinier than this. Those look like two, like, this looks like his hand was like amputated or something. I don't know what happened with his hand. You see that compared to this hand?
Oh my god.
Like, his hands
his hand might be in a fist.
Yeah, well, so is this one. This is wrapped around something. I don't know, it seems pretty small. So again, love the pose and the sculpt design. Looks really good. I actually like them kind of looking off-center a little bit, like him holding this out. That looks good. This detail here is quite soft towards the bottom. Up here, it's okay. And then there's some detail on the belt here that doesn't really go through. This robe, though, will take a wash really well. I think these will definitely benefit from being painted versus not. The detail on here, the embroidery work here, is also very soft. I'm assuming they used kind of a softer plastic. What's up?
What he reminded me of, when I saw him, he reminded me of the bad guy from Sylvia the First.
Oh, yeah?
It's like the crow.
Alright, so this one, hair texture is okay. Facial texture is really good. I like the kind of belt thing that she has. I like the wraparound thing she has here. The assembly, again, you can see the assembly here on the snake. It's not even quite centered. Assembly could have definitely been better. And the texture on the snake, very faint. You won't be able to dry brush that. You're going to have to paint that on. Like, you can hear it. But it's just not a whole lot there. And her fingers have just a hint of it, but she's definitely mitten hands. Like, you can tell kind of where the fingers would be, but it's way too flat. So the hands are definitely a bummer. Kind of unfortunate. They can get this face really good, and then these not quite as much. Again, very skinny bases, and it looks like all of them are not quite straight. Okay, then we have this guy here, and again, love the pose, but also again the assembly just seems a little off. You can see kind of the spacing there. His head isn't quite on the neck, I think, as it should be. So it looks a little silly there.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. Axe looks good. I like the detail here. Muscle details actually quite nice. I like that. is that? That's a necklace. The seam line right here kind of sucks. Because that's pretty much front and center of the mini.
You might just be like looking over.
Yeah. Seam line across the axe here. But, yeah, I mean, and then down the hair here as well. These are kind of, you know, like on the kind of side of things. Like, some of them I'm actually quite impressed with. Like, this one looks pretty darn good. This looks like a great detail here. Good detail here. Good detail on the book. Great detail on the beard and the hood. On the hands are actually pretty good. I like that. This one, this hand, is kind of the only bummer there. The seam line across the side is kind of a bummer. And then the detail is a little soft here with a lot of flash. But this miniature, though, is actually quite nice. This is the best one I've seen so far. And followed by probably her here. So it looks like kind of, it just depends on the miniature you're looking at. None are like absolutely crazy, but some aren't too bad either. So this is, detail here is great. I like the ridges in there. Her hair looks good. Fingers here look good. Fingers here look okay. Facial detail, the faces they did a great job on. I like the hair. I like the sash. I love that the quiver is on her side instead of her back. This detail here on her legs, though, again, way too shallow. Like, it's there, and you can see it, but when it comes to painting, a wash is not going to work on that. You're going to have to kind of dab it with your brush, I feel. But otherwise, quite nice. Alright, now we got... Oh, come on. We got the samurai dude. Sword actually ended up pretty good. I don't see it curved at all, which is good. I do notice this right away, though. So this scabbard, I'm assuming is what this is supposed to be, it's filled in right here. So this right here shouldn't be there. It's there so this doesn't get bent. It's to add support, but it's just nothing. Like if you added some tassels or something like that to kind of fill it up, this is plain filled. This is just there for the casting. Kind of a bummer. The detail on his... These are, when they're lighter like this, it's always hard to really see the detail. The detail on the armor seems a little lower than I would like. I'd like to see it a little bit, like down here. Right here on the chest. Can you see it better that way? Again, face looks good. Again, assembly is bad. He has this huge neck seam here. Again, you'll see that kind of later on at the end. But you can definitely tell where the assembly was. That's probably and right here, super faint right here. Like, it just did not capture that detail well. And then seam lines and whatnot. Alright. Almost done with these. We got this guy, again, great facial features. His jacket seems good. Very small clasps here on the belts. It gets kind of shallow there, but overall, I'm thinking he's actually quite good too. I'm not. I mean, none of these are top tier. I want to say that right now. None of these are top tier, but you know, they're all right, especially for the scale they're at. Okay, so she's one of my favorites. I really like this kind of model, the design of her. This cape is going to look amazing. Finger detail there is all right. Details here on the arm are very small. I can't even really tell what's going on there. Same with the detail here. Now this is kind of interesting. So she has like this chainmail right here, but it's too small. It's way too fine. Like the detail there is actually quite impressive. It's just too fine. I feel like the people who sculpted this made the renders look really good. I bet this looked great on a render. But when you're actually making a miniature this big, you need to exaggerate these details so a wash can actually go through them, so you can dry brush them. Same with in here. And same with this little detail here. And really, that's you see how deep set the eyes are here and stuff like that. It's because they exaggerate that in the render so that by the time it gets in this soft plastic, it holds its detail. This is really good here. But then again, that very fine detail here is useless. It's not going to do anything for me. I'll just have to kind of paint in a texture maybe. So exaggerating those would be kind of good. This looks a little bent. I'll have to straighten that somewhat. And this is the first seam line I think I've seen on the base itself, which again, all of these are bent. I mean, you can look, You can bend this pretty darn easily. So, a bummer on the bases. What's up? I need a hair dye?
No, I need a hair tie. You
need a hair tie, okay. The dwarf guy, love his shield. Again, very, very fine details here. It's great that they can get those detail, but as a painter, that's just going to get filled with paint. That needs to be way more exaggerated to actually take to paint. This shingled kind of looking plate armor here looks great. The boots are interesting. I like that. This chainmail here, again, way too fine. In fact, all of his chainmail here, if it had just been a little bit more exaggerated, I think it would have worked well. The assembly job on this arm here is actually pretty good. Same with the face here. Hair is okay, and hair ties are nice. Beard, face. I love the sculpt. I just wish that this was maybe a bit more pronounced of chainmail there. All right, I think that's it for the top one. I don't know if there's a bottom one or not. I guess let's take a look. Yep. Can you put the lid on that? Wherever I put it, right down there. It's all clear. All right, look at that. We got more. I'm not going to open all the cards. Let's go ahead. Yeah, these are just level up ones. This looks kind of interesting. I guess we'll take a look. At least they're easy. Well, I say easy open. I can't open it. Really? What? No, I just struggle with everything. Alright, let's see here. So these are just, I think, different skills that you can have. And again, they kind of have all the different stuff there. Pretty light on the symbols that I can see, which is nice. Those are good. These are well cut, by the way. Like, very smooth here. There's not any... in fact, look at that. Look at that. You can see the color. Do you see that? Because it goes all the way to the end like that, so you can see the color on them. That's kind of fun. Lots and lots of cards. It looks like there's room for tokens once you punch it out, which is awesome. Again, I'll include that in my review if I see that. All right, these are the bad guys here. So right off the bat, I can tell you these are a little bit chunkier. Like, their hands are a little bit chunkier and whatnot, and it looks good. They got pronounced fingers. They got kind of drastic detail. There is some like really tiny scroll work in here. Sure looked great on a render. It's may as well not be here. It's way too skinny. These are not glued in, but there is a slot there for them, so they're nice and sturdy here by the looks of it. Maybe slightly bent. Like, yeah, a little bent there. Like the detail here. Very tiny detail here. Chainmail is useless. Then there's no feather work there. Let's see. You got quite a few of those, and you got these guys here. You want to put them in? Ta-da! Okay. Again, really like the dagger work here. Skull here looks cool. I like that his cape is like right there at his feet. Yeah, he's cool. One more here. This guy looks pretty boss. Okay, so right here, this is filler. If you see this right here, this is just to fill in this void because you couldn't have like this, the negative space there. Would have been great just to pull in his cloak a little bit, like it was like like he was furrowing it a little bit, pushing this back, and so that would have kind of filled that in more. I plan on painting it just the same as the cape, and hopefully it'll kind of blend in the same. See how the detail's pronounced here? This detail will show up fantastic, whereas like the detail right here on his face mask, not quite as much. Lots of cleanup on these, by the way. They're very kind of cleanup heavy. A lot of mold lines kind of everywhere. All right, and I think, oh my gosh, more. Oh, I didn't even see these guys down here. I like their cape. Yeah, these guys are cool. All right, and we got a die here. So we got two. I'm assuming that was supposed to maybe be in there. They are not custom. There's no custom symbols here. However, they look like they're painted nice. A little bit of scuff mark seen on the black. Numbers look nice and crisp. They are not spin down die, which are good. Sometimes they do that and that messes it up. It shouldn't be spin down. Those look cool. Okay, we got the chest here. Lots of minis. This is just the core box, too. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. Got it. Love this. Love the chains look great here. Nice and thick. Love the skull. Wood texture is awesome. The planks look good. This is... I like those. Those are nice. And you got your, like, different symboled ones or whatever. Come on now. By the way, not snap in. I do like that. The texture on this is great. You see this texture here? If this texture had been on the other stuff, on the snake, on the character, that would have been fantastic. This is great. I like the texture here on the kind of marble pedestal here too. And of course that orb looks freaking sweet. Teeth are just kind of hinted at here, the little fangs. Same with the eye. It's like barely there, but texture-wise looks good. And this looks like it's a thicker base too. Let me... Is there another character? Give me one of those characters. This looks like a thicker base. In which case, that's kind of unfair. That looks nice and straight.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'll work. No, it's about the same. Maybe the characters are. I don't know.
Looks like
No. That's nice. Alright, what else we got? Nothing. Looks like more storage here. And, of course, the core box dragon. Which, you gotta kind of... There's a little bit of a lip here, but it's not snap. You just kind of have to push it in there. Maybe it was supposed to be snap, but he seems just to... Yeah, a little bit of a snap in there. Alright, very, very hefty base here, which I like.
Would you like to compare?
Love the... no. Love the texture here. Great texture there. All the way around seems pretty good. Every now and then it gets a little smooth, like right here. I'm not sure why that is. So you see the texture here. I think it's smooth here. Same here. It's like perfectly smooth here. Then textured. Smoother here and then textured. The texture when it's there, like, and see, smooth again. I think painted though, that'll look kind of interesting actually. Like, a little, I mean, it'll work. It'll work. I don't know how on purpose that is. It seems kind of haphazard, but maybe not. Love the ridges here. The teeth look great. This really slanted eye sockets there are good. Assembly is good on this bottom jaw. On the wings too. Actually quite good assembly. This is nice. Mold line right down there. That's unfortunate. I have to clean that up. But the wing texture looks good. Yeah, I like him. He's cool. Alright, let's get on to some of the other boxes. Alright, next up we have everybody's favorite shapeshifting guy. His whole skill set just sounded really cool to me. I like the idea of, you know, the shapeshifter and what that means with his cards and stuff like that. Looks like a pretty easy opening here.
I've seen the special box.
Now, I don't know, yeah, and I don't know if he has a space in the core or not, or how I'm going to fit him in. Hopefully he's not a completely separate thing like this forever, but I guess we'll see. I think that's just... Oh, that's his character board there on the back. Alright. Toss that. Let's see, get his character board out here. There he is. There we go. Okay, here's his other cards. And again, I'm assuming at least the cards I'm sure can fit into the core box. I'm sure that's fine. They're not going to add a whole bunch. It's this is really thick, by the way. It just feels premium, which I like. I like when they're thick like that. Here's his kind of card set here. And now him. Okay, well, I'm saying right now I like his armor. It looks... I'm trying to see if there's anything that's too fine a detail. His belt buckle's pretty darn close, but otherwise good. A little bit shallow on the sword, but doable. Love the cape, love the pose. Hair looks good. Facial features look good. I like him. I like his kind of sword stance that he's got going on. It looks like he just assumed it with a little bit of a an overlap here. And of course, again, it's coming off the base, which I appreciate. And the base itself, like, he seems to have been packed pretty good. So he's pretty straight there. All right, let's do that white one. All right, I have no idea what's in this, so let's open this.
Can I open it?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, open it from here. So this is the extra maps. Explains why it was in there like that. That being said, now I have these and no box for them. It's just kind of a bummer. I don't know where I'm going to be putting these. Should be 2 separate ones. Let's take out here. Why don't you take that one? Just hold it over there while I open this up. Hey, no cheating. We'll look at it. Alright, so here's one side here.
Hey, this is kind of like Small World, like the line, the numbers.
I like how it's kind of ending here, and so it's getting more and more snowy or whatever. That's nice. And over on this side, we have the magma on the walls, kind of a more dungeon kind of thing, especially with the
it's like total opposite.
With the stairs here. But yeah, that looks nice. I like it. So there's one of them. This one has more dungeon-looking areas here. There we go. Kind of like the debris that you just see everywhere. Again, artwork's good, and the glue job seems really nice. Like everything's nice and flat and smooth, and I don't see any like real big seams or anything. And on the other side is another just kind of empty battle board that you can make whatever you want with the different terrain pieces and whatnot that they have. All right, well, that was easy.
Okay, now this.
No, we'll do him last. Why don't we look at the Kickstarter exclusives? Now, my understanding is there is a surprise in here. I don't know what it is, though. I don't even know if it's listed here or not. So we get the Diablo. He was one of the last unlocks we have. Some zombies, vampires, dwarf, ghosts, an Imperial Tiger with the monk and the Emperor, and the Dragon Adventurer, some orcs, some skeletons, and the Dragon Avatar. Oh, this guy, I do not recognize this guy. I bet he is the I don't recognize him at all. So he must have been the thing here. Now, we'll see. This looks a little kind of odd. It just seems weirdly spaced in the corner there. Do you guys see that? I'm not sure what that's about. You're just going to open it while I was talking, huh?
Yes. Why, this isn't open?
That's right. That's right.
It's like opening a present.
Oh my goodness. There you go.
So I let go.
This is kind of interesting. Look at that. Funded with Kickstarter 2018. That's kind of cool to see. I like that. Well, I was part of that, so there you guys go. All right. Looks like that's the special guy again.
Is this the one that you're in?
No.
That could be weird.
All right. Okay, this is kind of a thank you. Very cool. Very nice. Oh, it's a fancy too. It's nice.
That's the type of paper. Wait, no. There's like another like really sticky paper.
All right, let's move this down here a little bit. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Kind of like a photo paper. Yeah. Okay, got some tokens here. Here's your kind of extra heroes here. I'm not going to open that. You've seen those before. I'm going to move them though because they're hiding some stuff. All right, again, the storage here seems very nice. And none of it's snap-in, which I appreciate. Look at some of these giant dudes here. These look great. Really happy with these. Those are nice. That's going to take a wash and a dry brush. Really, really good. I like that one. We got the Skeleton Warriors. Again, these guys I think look great. I like seeing their spine here and having the cape there to connect it all, so it's nice and sturdy. I think it's a very smart choice. Love the wood texture here. The ram horn, very fine detail, but it definitely there. I like the kind of cracked sword you got going on here. Yeah, no, this looks cool. These are nice. Let's see. Put you back there.
Here.
Huh?
I think they're having a little party over there.
Oh yeah, huh? Look at that. All right, we got the orcs here. Again, some really good detail on the capes, on the fur here, on that like bandolier kind of thing here. That looks nice. Facial detail as always are good. I can see his like kind of tusky looking teeth there. Got the dwarf ghosts. It'd be interesting to see how I want to paint these ghosts here. I'm not quite sure yet. Love the kind of embroidery work there. Again, cape looks good. The assembly seems quite nice. I like the little like kind of helmet lantern things going on here. Here's the your pet tiger if you play the emperor or whatever it is, like that. Not super textured, but that's all right. We got that guy falling out. Vampires. Of course, we got the vampires. Again, could maybe be a little bit of a better assembly. It looks a little high there, just with that space in there. But hair texture, good. I like that. Like the feet back there. Again, super skinny hands. Like they're definitely true scale here. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, looks good. Looks good. Looks good. All right, this guy's all sorts of flipped around. Look at these people. Get in your spots. All right, here's the zombies. Love their pose. I love their kind of palm outward like that. That's actually kind of neat. Yeah, these are good. Oh, you can see their intestines and stuff. Gross. Those are going to be fun to paint. Yeah, that's a little bit of color there. I like it. Very necrotic and gross and nasty. It's kind of fun in general. Alright. Again, the sword actually looks quite straight. Pretty happy with that. That ended up well. Like the pose. They definitely have a lot where they're looking kind of to the side. Or where their torsos are turned. Which I actually appreciate. I mean, it's a very common thing it looks like they're doing. But I'm okay with that. Here's the monk. I love that he only has one foot on the ground. I'm surprised he's not attached at the cape here. I might actually glue that just so... First of all, it ends really flat there. But, you know, just for some added security. But he looks like he's actually attached pretty well either way. Scroll work here, very, very faint. Muscle detail good. Facial detail great. He does have ears, but again, they're very, very tiny. And here's the Emperor. Which, for some reason, I thought he was a hero. Maybe he can be both. He's not colored. He's colored gray. No, it depends on the class, if I'm not mistaken. That's right. And so maybe there's a gray one. I don't remember. That being said, they did a really good job with his staff cane-looking thing here. Fire looks good. Cloth looks good. The ripples here do. Very fine embroidery work on his armor, his like shoulder pads here. Again, it'd be very hard to show that via paint. Next. And again, you even have for the tokens there. And actually, I haven't really noted this yet, but these are very nice game trays. Like, they're thick and what? That was nothing, huh? Well, look, now you know there's nothing there. Let's get Diablo out then, huh? Here's Diablo. Again, he loves his skulls. Skulls all on here, skulls here. This will be a really cool base. I actually, like, just looking at it here, it almost seems bent. Is that bent? That'd be crazy. That is bent.
Well, you can,
unfortunate.
You can, like, see it dipping down.
Yeah, well, I can see the bend here. It's like, it came out. Ugh. All right, I'll have to see if I can fix that, because that'd be really cool if I can. Anyway, I almost want to put, like, the blood technical paint all on here, and paint the skulls. Like, that'd just be cool. Like his, very much like the Tyrant from Hate there. This seems a little bent. Huge mallet of like skeleton people here. The detail on the skeletons though are quite shallow. Good texture on the wings though, like that. That looks nice. His teeth are very so-so. Same with the texture on his horns. That's not really going to show up. You know, all these are just kind of hit or miss. Like the design of them is always just very cool. But when it comes to now, I have look at that. His wing has been hitting the side here. This wing has been marking up the box.
He's attacking it because he has anger issues.
Anyway, yeah, I would eventually like to see some better miniatures. A little bit of a a bigger scale or something like that, I think would do well. But oh no. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, next is the Heroes and Dungeon expansion. Then we'll do the Hydra and the art book, and then the big dragon. So here we got some walls and all this kind of stuff here, which is nice. Plus some more characters, and I like the design of a lot of these. So we'll see how they kind of ended up here. Alright. Let's get to it. I like having the other characters just because they all seem to act so differently, and when it comes to making your party and your group, it just adds more options, right? It's kind of like having more cards in a card game. You can just really pick and choose who you have with you, which I think is kind of an interesting part of this, is you're not just picking one. So you're not just one person, but instead you're kind of a group of people here. All right, again with the very fancy looking lids. It looks like she probably popped out. One of the things without having the dimples, that's just going to happen. Okay, more tokens, more cards. You've seen them. Some great art, as always. Beautiful art. More cards. More cards. Again, if you sleeve them, you got extra room. Actually, here, let's look at the pirate lady first. So here's your pirate lady. Everybody wants a pirate lady. I am liking what I'm seeing. I think this looks great. The only issue I kind of have is how her fingers go in there. It's just kind of hard to tell, but perhaps painting it would look. I'm not seeing any detail that's too small here, per se. I guess maybe where these are just the scabbards for the swords, huh? So, yeah, no, it looks good. I'm liking this. Like her pirate boots. Like her kind of, the button-up kind of pirate jacket that she has going on here. She's got the eye patch by the looks of it. It's very soft there. I don't know, does she have an eye patch? I bet she does. These are pretty thick. I mean, they look kind of silly how thick they are, but it also means that they're straight, so I'm okay with that. Rather be thick and straight than curved and skinny. Okay, I dig that the rogue kind of character here. First of all, she's leaning way forward like she's about to burst into a sprint. She's holding her daggers backwards, which is kind of cool. Dig that. Great facial details there. Again, like the boots she's got are interesting. Hair looks good. This is actually, so far, I mean, the first two, knocking it out of the park. All right, let's look at Magic Guy. Again, I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing here. I like his pose as well, kind of leaned forward, but then back a little bit. Assembly, again, could probably always be a little bit better. But the facial details look good. I like his different fire. Like, this is obviously different than this. And his robe looks good. These seem to be straighter bases, too. From what I can tell. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, so again, she looks kind of interesting. Definitely a different pose than most. Her feet almost look like they melt into the floor, though. I'm assuming there's supposed to be some sort of difference. I mean, she just... Maybe not. Maybe I'll have to look at the art. Maybe she's supposed to be melting into the floor. I don't know. No, you know what? It almost just... This one just seems odd. So her hair is completely smooth. I wonder if I got a bad print. There's almost no difference here in the leggings. Again, her feet are completely melted in. Like, there's no... It's completely smooth here. I'm assuming that it's supposed to be her hand, but that barely looks like a hand. Like, this looks great, but this is a separate piece that was glued onto it. I'm assuming this sculpt here just got messed up. I might ask for a refund on this. Or not a refund, but a replacement. Because I'm assuming it's not supposed to be that smooth. That's unfortunate on that one. So I'll have to get a replacement on there, definitely. Alright, this one though, looking good again. Again, it looks like her head is actually separated a little bit, so I might have to figure out how to... Yeah, see, so her head should be a little bit farther down. Great pose though. I love this pose. Detail here looks good. I like the little rip, flowing out kind of curled dress thing here. The detail there looks cool. I don't know what that's supposed to be there. The facial details are good, but definitely need to re-glue that. And again, you'll see all these at the end, and they'll look all nice. It's just me kind of remarking on them. This is a fun one. They really went all out with this guy when it came to the basing. Love the kind of dragon thing there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Very small nostrils and teeth, but that might actually still show up. I'm kind of okay with that. I would have liked to see these plates, this armor plating here, more pronounced, definitely. This is going to be hard to paint in here, that's for sure, with everything going on, but really like the pose. Okay, over here we got the undead looking dude here. Again, I love his armor. Some soft details on the cloth, or on the hood at least, but the rest of the robe looks good. I love the tattered look at the bottom. Those look cool. Sword seems slightly bent. I'll have to straighten that out. Yeah, just a little bent there. You okay down there? Okay, Mr. Shield Dude. Definitely looks like almost like Gideon from Magic or something like that, but again, very squat, thick shield, but you know, it works because they're not using any ABS. No ABS here, obviously. This is all 100% PVC, and you can kind of tell. And there are some things like the swords that they thickened up that really kind of help that. Okay, this dude's got the scythe, which is cool, and the orb. His fingers holding the orb look good. Detail here is great. Detail here is good. Not really seeing anything negative there about that. It actually looks pretty good. I like them. Alright, and a bard. See, it's not every day that you get a character that literally has her, like, you know, her musical instrument right there. Very, very cool. This will probably be neat on, like, D&D or something. Hand detail, good. Facial details, always pretty darn good. I'm not quite sure about the lips, but it's so hard to see when they're this light plastic like this. I'd have to almost prime them at least first to really tell. Alright, look how big he is. I didn't realize he was going to be so much bigger. I dig that. He's got some thick hooves. Definitely wearing heels today. And, you know, assembly, again, could probably be a little bit better. Definitely going to have to... I don't know if it's just... I'll just have to gap fill it by the looks of it, and I think that'll do okay. The head put on, maybe some slight gap fill. But yeah, no, I like all of this. This looks good. Last guy here. I believe this is the other kind of vampire character that you can play. Fantastic pose. I mean, he looks like he's in full lunge here. He just launched. Like, if you were to take his lunge, this is like 2 frames into it at like 60 frames per second. Love the open mouth. I love the kind of the hand. He definitely like wants to grab somebody. I don't know if I can see his teeth, which is kind of a bummer. I would definitely want to see the teeth sculpted if I could. Texture on his shirt is good. Yeah, he's cool. I like him. All right. See what's underneath here. Whoa! What a mess!
Whoa.
What a mess. What happened here? Oh, I like how thick these are, though. My goodness, look at that. That is really nice. Some great texture there. Love the kind of the hinge stuff looking stuff here. It looks really good. Those are nice looking. Here's some more doors. I don't know where all these are supposed to be. It's just kind of everywhere. I'm assuming...
Wait, you can build houses?
No, yeah, it's not a house. You just have doors and stuff like that. Okay, here's the double doors. Again, these look great. The chains look really good. It helps that they're all really thick. These chains here look good as well. Wood texture looks nice. Yeah, front and back, this looks great. I like the floor even too, the kind of cobblestone texture floor here. Okay, these are actually quite thick and fairly heavy, heavier than I thought, but they're still a little hollow too, which is actually kind of nice because otherwise it'd be super heavy. But look how far in that goes. That's going to take a wash and a dry brush beautifully. Love the cobblestone here. This looks really good. I don't even really see any like super negative, like the seam line is here, but it's handled quite well. So I like that. And I think all you have is just a few different big ones. So like this has some breaking parts here. And now this is kind of interesting. See how it's not quite straight? So it's like a little bit of a wobble there. That's kind of odd. Are they all like that?
Yeah, build a house.
Well, I mean, that's not really straight anyway. Slightly. Looks like some of them may be a little bit better than others when it comes to that. Here's a different wall. Again, it's just kind of broken in a different spot here. And I don't think it's quite as long. It is not. Very cool. Hey, this looks nice, though. I like them. Alright, let's get on to the next one. Alright, so I'm going to change things up a little bit and go to the art book before we look at the Hydra, and then the final thing, the big dragon that they have. Again, do you hear this? Do you see this? Very thick plastic. I really like that. The book looks like it is in really, really good condition, which I like. I'm very happy about that. A very light ding there, perhaps. And I'm not seeing looks like one kind of scratch mark here, but not a whole lot like I saw. Maybe one right here as well. And some of the rule books there. It is a one picture here, so that opens up, and as you can see, it's all one picture. And again, it's got that paladin looking spear lady, which I really like. Very thick, very heavy. Looks very premium here. Here's the excuse me. Here's kind of the world you're going through and all the different locations and where you can go and whatnot. Okay, then we got not an index, just kind of a table of contents. And look at that. I mean, I like kind of how, you could put this on a coffee table, right? And for nerds, and people could read it. And it just has all this backstory. I'm surprised, honestly, with how much effort they put into, just the everybody and the lore of everything, that this isn't like an RPG already. If not, I'm assuming it's coming, because they did. I love seeing kind of how they're kind of planning things out here. You can read about your favorite character, different areas there. So see, here's the kind of the sculpts, the 3D renders, versus the 3D render. You see how there's that faint little. Maybe you can see that. The faint texture of the feathers did not happen in the final one because it's too faint. And that's something just to look at in general. When you're looking at renders, if you see very tiny details like that aren't very raised, there's not a lot of depth to them, those aren't gonna take. Okay, looking at the different ages. Again, the art is beautiful. It's actually kind of impressive how this almost seems 50-50. Some of it's a lot of art. That's a very cool pose. It is kind of a little too bad that it's split like that. Anyway, it's very cool to see the how much text is actually here. This is not full page. Instead, it's very much also a book to read, which is very nice. Really liking it. It looks like there is a little bookmark thingamajig here. Oh wow, look at that. That is cool. Very skinny, and I don't actually like the feel of this. It feels very I'm not even sure it'll come unbent from that. It feels almost like a plastic thing of some kind. Very cool art there, though. Yeah, kinda. You can use it as one. That being said, this is plenty to read. Plenty. Lots of stuff here. Making great art. I like seeing the lore and the sketch, or the renders and the sketches and whatnot. Very, very cool. And there's just so much. This is all about human cities in the sea. So you got the pirate lady. You got the Hydra. You got the orcs in the south there and talking about them. Just very, very cool. I'm actually looking forward to reading a lot of that. That's neat. Now, wait a second. Wait a second here, guys. That is not a character I know of, so that must be coming in their next Kickstarter, which is very, very exciting. Looking forward to that. All right. Very nice. Like it. All right. Let's look at the Hydra and then the Elder Dragon. Almost done here, guys. Now, I forgot, this actually came with, again, these are their kind of another kind of, what does it say here? Collectible exclusive. It also comes with 2 more characters as well. So this is kind of a little mini box expansion. If that did even premium figure, again, I would prefer them to say miniatures. Wow. That's cool looking. So, that being said, no game trays or anything like that. So how I'm supposed to store these afterwards, I don't know. Hopefully they can fit into one of the boxes okay. Because otherwise it'd suck to kind of have them so separate like this and with nowhere to go. I'll have to ask or look up an update, or if you guys know the answer to that, I would love to actually hear it. It's kind of where I'm supposed to put these after I open it up, especially because I'm about to break this. Okay, here's one. Better break the cardboard than the miniature, right? I'm sorry, the figure. Alright, there's the other one. And we'll get him out later. Alright, let's look straight at this guy. This is super bent. Definitely will have to straighten that out. That being said, the texture on it looks really cool. I like the tiny skulls. That being said, again, these skulls here are definitely not to scale. They're far too tiny. Unless he has midget skulls in his sword. I always like the skulls to always be the same size. Really cool texture on his skin. I like his horns, so they are very smooth. There's not a lot of texture to that. And I like his pointing finger. I kind of dig that. I really like that. This guy, again, will have to harden, or get this hot water and straighten that, because the sword is not straight. Wings look cool. I really like this part right here of the wings. That's just a cool texture that I really like. And his armor, I think, looks great. He's cool looking. Love his helmet too. Alright, let's look at the Hydra here. Huh? Alright. You see this, Kaylin? Here's the Hydra, and I must say, he looks great. This is the best one I've seen so far. All the teeth look really, really cool, even on the closed mouth. Love the teeth. Love these big, giant horns here. He actually is slightly sharp, like this, especially this one right here. Like the texture on his plates are good. This is just a cool miniature. I would hate to paint him because I get frustrated with this whole stuff here where I'm with my brush, it's all straight, and I'm trying to like highlighting here, and it just, I don't know, I get annoyed by round things apparently, but he looks cool. Definitely like him. All right, let's get to the big one. Only open with fireproof suit. Gargantuan Elder Dragon miniature inside also contains some of the rarest special quest cards and hero pads of Arena the Contest board game. Well, that's kind of cool. I dig that. Again, a collectible Gargantuan miniature dragon. Premium figure again. Now, I will say I was impressed with the Hydra, so hopefully this is just like that. And we are in. All right. Look at that. That is super formed. I dig that. Look how attached that is. That's cool. That being said, it also means that he will not fit back in here with his wings on, but I think we're getting used to that when it comes to dragons. Hopefully just lift this up like this. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm assuming underneath here, yep, there's a whole bunch of game stuff. Let's see here. Alright, so we got... Alright, and then just a box. With a box here. Got some tokens. Got some cards. For the Hydra and stuff like that. And then the Elder Dragon here. So we got some extra pages that essentially we can use. They are folded. Kind of wish it wasn't, but I mean, it's fine. You're just doing this when you do the kind of looks like there's a Hydra mission and an Elder Dragon mission. So we got that. We got their character cards. Again, some great art on the back. But this is what we want to see. Looks like it is taped. This is why I was able to lift it all as one, which is kind of nice. Let's see how much tape we got here. Probably just 2. Yeah, looks like it. The tray here, again, you hear it's not crinkling. It's very very thick, which I like. I'm appreciative of that. Very thick base. Look at that base. My goodness.
Look at the baby of him.
Yeah, there you go. Very, very tall base, which is kind of interesting because that goes really far down. All right, so let's see if I can't put the wings on. I don't even know how it works, guys. This would go in like this, so you can see there's some ridges here, and then there's a line here for the wing here. I'm assuming those ridges are there just to kind of add some surface tension. Okay, there we go. Now this one, I don't really see. So there's, this that goes in there, but this is kind of a weird shape. And again, I'm assuming that's to, no, wait, maybe I'm, no. In the world. Come on, get in there. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that's supposed to go in. Wow, that's embarrassing. Yeah, no. Where does this go? Man, I'm like dumb over here. Alright. Figure this out on camera. Here we go. There we go. I think that's good. It's just very pressured. Come on, get in there. Don't be a wuss. Wow, guys. That is tight. Yeah, there we are. Get in there, get in there.
Might not even have to glue it on.
Yeah, I'll say so. Again, I just super. Maybe if I take this off on that just, I mean, it fits in and all that just fine. This one though, oh my goodness. Try and take it out a little bit. There we go. Wow. And you would think it would just, again, slot in, and it kind of does. But to not have that gap there, I don't know. Oh. Now, see, this is, it's certainly not snap-in, right? There's definitely no snap. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to trim that up. I'm not sure that's going to go in any more than that. Okay, well, you guys don't want to see me struggle. But I'll definitely have to... I mean, maybe... I'm sure some people want to see me struggle. But, I don't know if they actually... They want to know I struggle. I don't know if they want to watch it. Okay, alright. Now, looking at that. Teeth look really, really nice. Loving the teeth. There are some gums, though it's quite a soft transition from the outside of his face to the gum line. But it is there. You'll definitely be able to paint it. I love the slightly forked tongue. But that looks good. Texture on the inside of his mouth is good. I like the eyes. Love the horns here. They are very smooth horns, which is okay. It's just a different style. I'm okay with that. And they have some ripples here. And these horns are textured and very textured. The texture on his belly looks really interesting. The texture on the outside, sometimes like right here, is very shallow, sometimes more. There is some assembly going on here. You'll have to want to gap fill that. Same with here. The rocks are kind of maybe the most interesting thing because they look a little soft. Like you see kind of the line here. So normally when you dry brush it, the rock texture just pops out really, really well. But here I'm not sure a dry brush on that would actually make it pop too much. I do like the bumps all the way on his tail here. And again, just the overall pose of him curled around here and moved here. You want to bring him?
Yeah. Oh.
So texture on the wings is good. Texture on the skin here, also very cool. So this is a little comparison here. Want to move that?
Miniature we have.
Yeah, so when I first saw this, I was like, wow, this is huge. And then, of course, you know, here's the Joan of Arc legendary dragon. So you can kind of see the comparison here. If you want to see how I painted that, link in the description below. I do have a video of that. But as you can see, it's actually, I think, fairly comparable. The teeth are showing good. The eyes are showing good. Horns look nice. Arena has a different style. It's much more, I don't want to say cartoony, but just much more thick and bulky, right? When it comes to, I mean, look how thick his neck is here, right? Or how thick these spikes are here. And it's just a different style, or how his like feet, his toes here compared to the legendary dragon's toes. You know, here. And we can kind of tell these are more long and skinny. So just kind of a difference in style, but anyway, that's, you can kind of get a sense there of the size if you wanted to see them both together. I don't know if I can get that in the same camera shot or not, but either way. Okay, so that is everything. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I am going to show you the round table and I'll talk through that. So we're not quite done discussing these miniatures yet, but we're pretty darn close. Let's get to the end. Alright guys, so here you can see all the miniatures in really close detail, and as you can see, some are actually quite, like that lady there, she's pretty good. I like her. I like that mini. It'd be great. Yeah, I see a lot of posts talking about like this guy's fist, and just kind of the general lack of quality on some of them, and some of them I agree, like that. Both these green people didn't end up well. Like the snake has really soft details, her hands are really small. And then this guy, his assembly, like his head just seems off. And assembly is probably one of the, I appreciate that they need assembly. It means that they designed very dynamic and cool miniatures. So I like that. But the assembly at the factory could have been a little bit better. And obviously those bases really suck. But miniature quality wise, some of it's quite good and some of it isn't. And I'm going to have some comparison shots here. Compared to some other board games that you might or might not have, just some of their minis, or at least ones you might know. So here you can see on that dwarf, the chainmail is, you know, quite shallow. The detail's there, and it's actually kind of impressive. It just needs to be a little bit thicker. Same with like the samurai's armor, and of course that assembly job on his neck could be better. But you know, this guy here, I like pretty much everything I see there. I think that would paint up quite well and look pretty cool. For the ranger lady here, again, her legs are a little too shallow, but otherwise, I mean, it's not too bad. And you could always, fake that out with paint. So both of those would be good. It just, you know, it's kind of unfortunate. It reminds me a lot of, some earlier Awaken Realm games where, some miniatures I thought were quite good and some, you know, maybe not so much. So here's a comparison one. There's, Pandora from Mythic Battles Pantheon, very well known for being great miniatures. And then you have Claustrophobia, a troglodyte over there. And then we actually have a resin piece from one of the Archon Studios miniature lines from Chronicle X. And so obviously resin, none of these are going to be as good as resin. But I just wanted to put it out there so you can kind of see kind of the wide range of quality and what you can and can't have and whatnot. And again, like, each of the miniatures here from Arena, I would paint. They all seem fine here. These aren't terrible miniatures. They're not top tier great miniatures either. And I think that's kind of the problem, is you're not blown away by, I think, anything here. Here's some of the enemies, and almost all of the enemies I find to be a little bit chunkier, and therefore just a little bit nicer. You can see that fill in between his arm and the cape. Again, I would have preferred the cape to be drawn in there. It would have taken a little bit more sculpting process, but I think it would have ended up with a better miniature that way. But it's not terrible or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, the detail here, fairly good. So around his, where his helmet is and that, where his head's turned, it gets a little soft there towards his armor, on the kind of big hammer dude. But this archer dude, yeah,
he looks great kind of everywhere. Like, I like him a lot. So yeah, I mean, you guys can make your own opinions. Obviously, again, I'm showing you all sorts of stuff there. You can see the arm on that guy was assembled. You can see the gap there. The assembly's always just, again, I love the dynamic poses. I love the sculpt design of pretty much everything. But, you know, obviously then you have to pay for assembly, and that's normally at the factory, and you know, the factory either does good or it doesn't, and you can, I guess, make future business decisions based off of that. So, I mean, if I were Dragori Games, I would probably seek out another manufacturer that'll kind of do their sculpt designs right and make sure that everything's up to snuff. And then probably just thicken those bases a little bit, add some ABS where it makes sense, and you know, maybe just even pick a different PVC plastic as well. But yeah, otherwise it seems really, really good. I love the prisoner there. The chain there's good. Chest there's good. The chains are good. All 3 of these minis, I think, or 4 of those minis were great. Okay, here's some of the extras you can get. So some of them are from the Kickstarter exclusive box, and some of them are from the Hydra box, and then there's a Shapeshifter guy. Again, these yellow miniatures, they're so bright. It's so hard to see the detail until they're painted. It really is, or at least until you prime them. And so I'll probably prime these guys and then paint their base yellow, even if I'm not going to paint all of them, just so they look better. Because again, you can't really see the detail. It just kind of all bleeds into the yellow. But man, I mean, look, these sculpts, like the design, really, really like them all. Each one of these, I think, are great. Got the stalwart kind of angel there. You got the, you know, just assumed a sword stance shapeshifter. You got the monk on one leg. It looks great. Here's a lot of the enemies. These are, again, really good. Like that zombie, I love the pose. I love how it's in motion. I love how his, like, intestines are out and all that kind of stuff. That's great. Rock Dude has that's gonna be great to dry brush. And then you still have the kind of, belt there just to kind of add something to change it up a little bit. Vampires assembly, again, terrible. It's real big bummer about the vampire, assembly there, because I think they're pretty good sculpt. Dwarf looks awesome. I love how stocky he is. It helps that he's hunched over, I think. Skeleton guy, I already told you about that. You know, I like how his, like, spine's in the back there and it's connected by the cape, and he's actually holding his shield out. It's not directly against his chest. It's not something you see all the time. Orc looks, you know, barbaric enough. You can see his teeth. I can see it this close now. And of course the lizard guy as well. Now here's a comparison shot, and again, this is just to some other board games, Zombicide Invader and Tainted Grail for this one, and you can kind of see the kind of detail level. So I would say these are, and this is one of the ones I like more from Awakened Realms, the Tainted Grail one, and I think these hold up pretty good to it. The Zombicide Invader, I think, is a little bit better. There's definitely a lot nicer kind of head detail there and whatnot. But for the most part, I will say that it seems to me like the enemies in Arena are not true scale. I think their hands are a little bit beefier. I think their faces are a little bit beefier. And that just helps in general get the detail. I think it's a fine line. I'm not a big fan of true scale, personally. At least not true scale. If you get the kind of inflated hands and head, just enough to where you get that out of detail, but not enough to look silly, that's the golden spot for me. I'm totally okay with that. Diablo, again, wonderful design. A huge bumper about that base. That's gonna take some, I don't know if I'll ever be able to straighten that completely, but I hope I can. The chain and the skulls are fine. It's not as good as Hate. Most things aren't. Hate's pretty much top tier, top of the line miniature quality when it comes to board games, unless you go resin. As far as I'm concerned, they're pretty much the best there is right now. And so I don't expect that from any game. Though it would be nice to get closer and closer to that. But, you know, this is fine. It gives you the detail you need. But, you know, it just, that base really sucks. So here's some of the expansion characters. And, again, I think most of these are better. You do have Juliet there, the first blue lady there in the middle, which is a terrible cast. And it sounds like to me, it just is a bad cast, which is really unfortunate because, her color scheme with the blue and the white is something I'm a huge fan of. So it's kind of unfortunate. I was really looking forward to actually painting her. But, you know, everybody else here, I think looks great. Like, I think they actually did a pretty good job here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually maybe putting some paint on these and see how they look painted up. Because I think you could take these a long way with some paint, especially these lighter colors. Anytime you get these colored miniatures like this, it's always kind of unfortunate when they're really bright color because you just miss out on a lot. So here's some, again, very well-regarded miniatures here. So this guy is from Myth of Battles Pantheon, which is well-known among mini gamers as being very, very good. You can see the chain there on his weapon is outstanding. So again, these are kind of, if you want to be in the upper echelon, you need to at least match these, or at least get close to these. There's another hate miniature there. So just kind of showing you the range on this comparison shot. I'm not trying to find comparable minis. I'm trying to show you here's how good it can get. And then here's Arena, and you can judge how far down Arena is from top tier, and whether or not you're okay with that. It's so odd. So I'm so excited about the game. I'm really pumped about the game. The miniatures, because there's such a range, it's hard to judge. And I value sculpt design a lot too, not just detail. There has to be a certain level of detail, or I will not paint it if it's too bad. But otherwise, I need to be excited about the miniature itself. So when I see the vampire dude, they're lunging, like a full sprint towards somebody. I just get so happy to see that. And I think that's really important. And then, of course, unique stuff too, like the bard here. Like, I've never been able to paint a bard from a board game miniature. Like, who the heck gets a chance to paint that? I don't know. And it's actually not that bad of a miniature there too. I think she will look great painted. Again, she's light green, so it's hard to tell like her difference in her hand, but it is there. It's just hard because of the reflection of the light and just the low contrast of everything. But yeah, I'm actually more excited than I thought I would, especially seeing these up close. So, I viewed them live, and then I'm seeing this footage same as you. And I think a lot of it looks a lot better than I think people are getting it credit for. And I think a lot of people put way more emphasis on detail level and not sculpt design. So, Invader might have some great detail level, but their sculpts are kind of boring. You get those heroes and they're just kind of standing there. You have no heroes in a full lunge like that vampire. It's just not. So Command doesn't do that. And so I'm excited to see more interesting sculpt designs too. All the terrain I want to paint. I might actually do that real quick. I don't even know if I'll do a video on it. I guess let me know if you want to see that or not. It would just be kind of a base coat wash, dry brush kind of deal. But I think it'd be great to kind of get that out there. And maybe I'll take some pictures with it. I don't know. Here's the legendary dragon, the last miniature. So we're almost done here, guys. And again, love the sculpt design. Those rocks, I want to have to see how they paint up. I do want to paint them up. It's super thick though. I mean, look at his neck. I mean, that dude works out. Like, it's so funny though. I really like the kind of unique art style they have here. It's definitely something kind of interesting. That wing though, man, putting that wing on. It ain't happening. That's as good as I'm getting it, apparently. I don't know what's wrong with mine. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Of course, I'm so thankful to always have you here. I hope you enjoyed this super detailed unboxing and, view of the miniatures here at the end. And I look forward to talking to you soon.